This is a gameplay demo for JetLag 2017, written in Lua for the Love framework engine, whatever you want to call it. This one is a completed game, more or less. The one thing I haven't done is I have not put gamepad support into it, and I may decide to do so, but it's fully playable as is. You can download it on itch.io. I will put a link to where you can get it. Not that it's got overwhelming gameplay. The whole point here is building up a repertoire of different little Lua components and subcomponents, simple ones that I need to make more and more complicated games. Because I don't know about you, but my problem is always that I will come up with a way more complicated game than is easily achievable. And what happens is, even in something like JetLag, you have this idea and you've got functionality you have not developed yet, and eventually you get to a point where you say, oh, okay, you come up with a quick way to do it, and then you quickly realize that that is not the most effective way to code up that bit of a thing, and you could refactor it and make it better. And a lot of times what happens is that will get you into a paralysis where you will not be able to move forward because you'll constantly be refactoring things and you will come to a standstill. And at the scale of the games that you tend to want to make, that will absolutely kill your productivity. So my tactic for combating that is to make a small something that I know how to make, that I can identify those pieces, and then when going on to the next game, I will take the pieces and refactor some of them in the game itself, but most of the time I won't do it in the game. I'll refactor out a new piece that I can use in a new game. And so, here in JetLag, which apparently I can play for quite some time. It's a game of endurance. But in any case, yeah, I'm never going to die just off my own. So I'm going to have to, well, let's go for 10,000, and then we'll go over and commit some JetLag harakiri. One of the cool innovations to JetLag, because I've made this game a million times, that is of recent years, but I really like. Before it used to be one line, 1 point, and that was great for a long time, and that was a really pure. Okay, now I'm over 10,000. Okay, done. Okay. But the amount of time you go before you turn is the amount of score you get when you do turn. Of course, you have to live to get it. It means you have to successfully to not hit something. If you hit something, then whatever accumulated score you have, you don't get it all. And so JetLag itself, right here, and do I have an ability to zoom in? I don't know that I do. Do I? Do zoom. Zoom in. Oh, I do. How lovely is this? There. That's way easier to take a look at on a video. I'm using a library for doing my JSON stuff. There were a couple different libraries. This one meets my needs. There are better ones, I'm sure. Yeah, because I saw some other stuff on Little Rocks, but it's no. One of the things that I constantly have to have are a number of constants for a game, and we'll zoom you in as well. So I've got this JetLag. It's 40 by 30. So here's my board. I've got 40 by 30 rows. A tail is so long, and the cell is this big, and a frame. This is how many time units, because in Love, whenever you are getting update called, you get this is how many time units have elapsed, and of course the screen, so that I can, these other things. Another one of the things that I really always need, and this one wasn't there when I started, but then I refactored it in. One of the small, because it's a small refactor, is I need to be able to save things to a file, and that's actually why the JSON, why Luna JSON is there. I've got not very many things, because I'll go over to main. So here's the thing where I tried to make this super generic, and then actually when I started making the next game, I said this is silly because this is very per game, and went with a very different way of doing it. So here's my options. I say, because I got game options, so I have to actually instantiate a game options, and so it saves it to options.txt, and my audio. There are only two pieces that I need. Do I have audio on? Because when I come back and I've turned the audio off, I don't want to have to turn the audio off every time I start playing the game. And the high score is when I've achieved a high score, I want it to save and I want it to come back next time I load up. Colors is really more or less, this could have been in constants, quite frankly. These are the colors I use. Zoom in on them. Yeah, they're all FFs, they're zeros. But everything else is within the game, including, so I got music and sound effects. So music, when you come down, going to load in, here's my music. Yeah, I use Komiku. They're public domain. I don't actually have to give credit for these guys. It's public domain. I can do what I want. These two things are sounds, and they came out of SFXer. But so that loads them up, and I'm like, okay, this is an area where it doesn't have to now because I've only got one piece of music and two sounds. But this is something where it goes into a sound manager, it goes into a music manager, so I don't have to worry about other things. And also here's my toggle audio, and turn off the audio, and do I save it? I don't even think I save it here. No, I don't save it. So I toggle my audio and I turn on and off, and if I'm playing music and don't need to, whatever the new value is, play the music or stop the music, depending. And I think, actually, no, state. Okay, so there's a game state. There's not much to it. Here is the game state. There are two states. Game over, which is right here, and the place where you can really see that is I only actually update things during play. And this is the detect if he died, and then set it to game over and play the death sound. Most of these are here, draw some stuff. And here's actual draw, which doesn't matter in the game state, which is why I didn't decide to make an actual state machine, because I don't need it. Although here in draw prompts, because I only show the press space to start and the unmute if I am in game over state. So there's some level of, here's my state machine. It's in three places. One is in my draw, one's in a function called by draw, one is in my key pressed, and then the other one is in my update, where I actually do things. So that's not too bad. There's also only two states, so it's not that big of a deal. But one of the things that it highlights is I need to refactor out a state machine, which I did in the next game, which I'll cover next time.